Hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and a sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone.
Noswaith dda pawb, welcome everyone. Croeso to Lleswyl 2025, our fourth Lleswyl. I'm Sian Lloyd, and with me tonight are my co-hosts. They need no introduction really, Tumi Williams and Jason Harold. Our signing interpreters tonight are Julie Doyle and Catherine McShane Kuate. And both of you, this is for you. Thank you so much for being with us and signing throughout the evening. And of course, the word Lleswyl, if you don't know about it, it means Wellbeing Festival in Welsh. In fact, we started the show tonight with a Cwmbran deaf choir, so thank you so much to them. Weren't they beautiful?
They were great, thank you. More from them later.
Absolutely. Lleswyl 2025 is designed to support the emotional well-being of the huge numbers of people who simply can't get to live gigs, let alone festivals, because of chronic illness or disability. And Lleswyl is open to everyone, those living with illness, those living alongside illness, those in caring roles, and those of us blessed with good health. The evening is a powerful mix of great music and conversation, so something for everybody. And tonight, as part of Lleswyl, we're making space to talk about our feelings arising from illness and their importance in helping us live well with physical illness, with some very special guests this evening.
Yes, Lleswyl 2025 shines a spotlight too on the work of 4 incredible charities and those that they support. Mind Cymru, with whom Daring to Dream has partnered to bring Lleswyl to so many more people and to encourage even more of us to make space to talk about our feelings arising from illness.
3 incredible community support projects funded by McMillan Cancer Support, Bridgend Carers, Pavo Community Support and Coalfields Regeneration Trust Community Support as well. They each provide spaces to talk and to access advice on a range of non-clinical matters arising from living with cancer.
Lleswyl is also showcasing Diabetes UK Cymru's Young Leader project, which helps young adults living with type 1 diabetes to live well with their condition. And finally, Daring to Dream also filmed in the Cats Protection Centre in Bridgend, learning so much about how animals provide emotional support and comfort. We're getting pets on the show. Pets this year. Amazing.
It just gets better every year, Jason, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we welcome a number of special guests to join our conversation tonight. Sue O'Leary, Executive Director of Mind Cymru. Liz Williams, Trustee and Vice Chair of Fair Treatment for Women of Wales. Molly Fenton, public speaker, multi-award-winning women's health activist and founder of the Love Your Period campaign. And Chris Birch, lecturer, speaker, broadcaster, supporting Welsh creatives. Of course, Barbara Chidgey, Daring to Dream's founder and chair. And Dr. Nav Masani, clinical lead and trustee for Daring to Dream, are also both with us tonight, along with one very different guest, Daisy, who you'll meet later on. And I will just say one thing, she's a furry friend.
Oh, I thought cows are all called Daisy. All right, well, we'll go with that.
We'll be chatting through a number of themes about emotional health and its positive contribution to living as well as possible with illness. And before we outline our fantastic lineup for Lleswyl 2025, let's hear from Sarah Murphy MS, Welsh Government Minister for Mental Health and Wellbeing.
Noswaith dda pawb, good evening to you all. I would like to start by thanking Daring to Dream for inviting me to make the opening note for Lleswyl this evening. It is great to see so many artists, bands and supporters alike here to engage and uplift us all through the power of music. The importance of such events at Lleswyl cannot be underestimated. Having the power to bring joy and create a sense of community, especially when people may not be able to have the ability to attend or participate at an in-person event. During the COVID pandemic, of course, events like this were absolutely fundamental in helping people to stay connected. And it is wonderful to see how something that started at such a difficult time has continued and keeps growing year on year. And we are so proud to be a part of it once again. Here at Welsh Government, improving the well-being of Wales is very much at the heart of all that we do, very much at the heart of what I do. So thanks to our groundbreaking Wellbeing of Future Generations Act, and this is at the heart of everything really, and is included within Connected Communities, our strategy for tackling loneliness and social isolation, and our new mental health and wellbeing strategy, which is due for publication in the spring, which I know many of you have been a part of contributing to. So improving the opportunities people have to take part in activities that are good for their well-being is a key action within that strategy. And I want people to be able to cope with difficult times and also to flourish when times are good. And we know that this is even more important for people living with long-term physical health conditions, disabled people and neurodivergent people as well, all of whom are more likely to experience poor mental health than the general population. So the activities that we take part in for our mental well-being are unique to each of us, but there are some common themes. So connecting with people, being creative and making time for hobbies are just some of those. Lleswyl is a wonderful example of a positive platform at which all of this is possible. Online events such as Lleswyl are so important to support and nurture people who may not be able to access activities in person. Supporting and protecting environments that are inclusive to everyone is really important and a key priority. And I'm very grateful to Barbara for the invitation and involving me in this important event. Diolch yn fawr pawb. Thank you all so much, and I really hope that you enjoy the evening ahead.
Thank you, diolch, Sarah Murphy. And now to the lineup. Once again, Lleswyl 2025 brings a great mix of talented artists, both experienced and emerging, a mix of professional musicians and community groups.
Starting with the iconic Welsh group Arlog, the poignant and powerful Cwmbran Deaf Choir, and the beautiful tracks from Adjua.
We'll be listening to folk rock band Rusty Shackle, Coming Home, as well as the amazing a cappella music of the Inner Voices, the award-winning Inner Voices. And yes, it would be a sin, actually, not to listen to the Pet Shop Boys, actually, the tribute band, nor the wonderful choirs for good from Abergavenny with their amazing musical arrangements.
We bring to you also the emerging artist Nana Punk, the women's must-hear punk collective.
And all this headlined by Sidiki Dembélé, Mariatou Dembélé and Modou Ndiaye, who will showcase a coming together of cultures, music and people with artists of global reputation, together with the professional musicians of Sinfonia Cymru.
Yeah, what an incredible action-packed evening we have ahead. Am noson cyffroes o'n blaen yn ni heno. Lots of special guests, stories and information to share. So let's get underway with Arlog, that means for hire, an incredible, well-established and the iconic Welsh folk group. Their first tracks are Gorsaf y Gof, followed by Rachel Dafydd Ifan, a traditional folk song, followed by a dance.
With a huge shout out and welcome to all listeners on Hospital Radio Glamorgan, who for the first time are actually transmitting Lleswyl live to their listeners. And we will ask our logger to take it away right now.
How good was that? Loved it. I wonder, Tumi, if Afro Cluster might make an arrangement of this. There were some lyrics spinning in your head there, weren't there?
I was bopping away, making up some lyrics. We could even remix it.
Yeah. Looking forward to hearing more from Adra later in the evening. Now, throughout the evening, we're also asking you to take to social media. We'd love you to follow us, like us, chat with us on social media. Facebook, Daring to Dream 5. We're on X at Daring to Dream 5. Blue Sky, B-Sky, daringtodream.bsky.social, on Insta at Daring to Dream 5, and we hope to have a chat with you. Maybe we'll hear from Brecon Jazz Club members, from listeners to Hospital Radio Glamorgan. I started on Hospital Radio, so basically it's their fault. Or maybe from Innovate Trust members who are on a Zoom watch party to get you on mute, and anybody else who is online with us this evening.
And it's great to know that Innovate Trust are with us. They're with us every single year.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your support. Well, now I'm delighted to say that we welcome Barbara Chidgey, founder and chair of Daring to Dream, and Sue O'Leary, executive director of Mind Cymru, because this year Mind Cymru have partnered with Daring to Dream to bring Lleswyl, including its conversations about emotional and mental health, to many, many more people. So welcome to you both. Croeso.
Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Sean.
Lovely to see you. Barbara, I'm going to start with you because many people might know a little bit about Daring to Dream, but just outline what exactly is Daring to Dream and Lleswyl, and why is making space, that's our catchline, isn't it? Why is it so important?
Thank you, Sean. And I'm sorry we're going first, Sue. It seems very rude. However, maybe it's the right way around. Yeah, Daring to Dream supports the emotional, not mental health of adults in Wales living with physical illness. And actually, there's 1.2 million of us living with at least one long-standing illness. It's huge numbers. It's 48% of the population, Sean. And as a charity, we're raising awareness about the importance of emotional health and emotional skills in the context of illness, because research confirms very clearly that the more emotionally robust we are, the chances are the more rapidly we'll recover from an acute crisis, or actually the better we can live with a chronic illness. And this is why we're encouraging people who are living with illness to talk about their feelings, enabling them, we hope, to live their best lives, even against the background of what can be very serious illnesses for many. And to help us talk about our feelings, what the charity does is support people who are at their most vulnerable in hospitals by creating spaces to talk, making spaces to talk. And we are one room at a time, making over quiet rooms, relatives' rooms, patient day rooms on wards, so that when people need to, a family or a patient and their family need to sit down with a clinical team and quite often hear quite tough clinical updates and advice, they are also in a space that comforts them, where they can stay and talk together, comfort each other and share their emotions. So a kind of emotional refuge, if you like. And at times, everyone needs a place to cry, and the rooms provide that as well. So those are our spaces to talk, that as a charity is the main thing that we provide.
And I know that you have personal experience, and absolutely we will be coming to you soon, no slight intended whatsoever. But I know you've got an important message, Barbara.
Yes, and we've got a little video to show to support what I've just said, really. Dr. Nav Masani is here tonight, and he'll be joining the set in a few minutes. He is one of our founding trustees and the clinical lead. And I first met Nav when I was in acute cardiac failure. And this short video that we're just going to show now, Nav explains from his clinical experience and humanity background the importance of us making spaces to talk. So this video, he starts with a reference to the acute incident that sparked the whole mission of Daring to Dream.
initially the experience of an acute illness, which is how this started, might be over within a week, but the emotional impacts might, go on forever. The ongoing realization that patients that we knew well and looked after well, that the physical space that we were having really tough conversations about transplantation. So those conversations that we were having about the physical aspects of health and what could be an easy clinical decision, sounds big, but the decision to have a kidney transplant from the clinical point of view could be quite easy. But the emotional surroundings are actually the most vital thing. And we were having those conversations in a terrible physical space. So for Hussein, we were talking about heart transplantation. And this isn't going to sound right, but the four of us were on the same bed. And the two guys, Sarah was just around the corner, and we were inches away from the next patient. And we were talking about these huge, impactful issues. And so that's happening all the time. And so, it was connecting the acute illness, often in a person with a long-term condition, so that the emotional impact became more important than the physical requirement. And so the trajectory you set someone off on in that moment was what struck home.
So that really, I think, explains very well, the mission behind Daring to Dream and why you wanted to be involved with it and why you are a trustee as well. And you mentioned the difficult decisions that do take place, that will be taking place now, most probably, by somebody.
And really, Barbara, I think that video takes us back to that very important conversation that we had at that event before Christmas. And Dr. Navmasani there really summing up what Daring to Dream is all about. And for us to remember, we've got a fantastic night ahead, haven't we? A night of music and conversation. But right across Wales, there will be people who are dealing with very tough decisions this evening and difficult news.
Yes, indeed, Sean.
Sue, let's come to you now. Please tell us about Mind and Mind Cymru's mission, really. What is it that Mind does as an organisation and the support that it offers?
Thank you. So Mind is a mental health charity, and we operate across England and Wales. And when we use the term Mind Cymru, we're talking about our work in Wales. So Mind Cymru is the work that we do across Wales as a federated charity. So our mission essentially is to ensure that everybody gets the support that they need with their mental health, and that they can access services, they can access information, and that we're campaigning as an organisation for better mental health for the whole nation. So in essence, how we do that across Wales is we campaign for better mental health, and I work very closely, as do my colleagues, with politicians and with decision makers to ensure that we're making the right decisions and making the right choices for people with mental health. But also we have a range of information resources on our website. We also have helplines, and we've got kind of online peer support which can be accessed 24/7 to support people when they need support. And across our communities in Wales, we have 16 local minds that operate in all communities, offering support to people kind of on their doorstep that they can access face-to-face or via other means. And then in addition to that, we also have some shops in Wales which are very much part of raising income, but also providing fantastic opportunities for volunteers to support us in our work via the retail arm.
So we can't miss you, really. You're all over
there's
the place.
lots going on.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's illustrate what Sue has just explained with a short and informative video about Mind that we'd like to show for you right now.
So, thank you both so much for talking us through the, before. Thank you so much. But before we move on to discussing the difference between emotional and mental health, let's hear from Caldecott's one and only folk rock band Rusty Shackle with When the Morning Comes, followed by Lanterns.
Hi, we're Rusty Shackle, and we've come all the way from Caldecott. It's a pleasure to be here in Lleswyl, and this first tune is called When the Morning Comes.
When the morning comes, when the morning comes, when the morning comes, when the morning comes. Ahead of my heart, I'm struggling to find the words to any sermon that the nightlife left behind. Two lives I'm living, I'm up and down. The day won't matter when the night time comes around. From dusk till dawn, the darkness comes alive. City lights and fireflies burn up the midnight sky. I live for the cold night, I make my way. A song to sing out but why the lonely heartache congregate. Singing. When the morning comes, when the morning comes, I can feel it in my bones. I don't wanna wake up alone. I can feel it in my bones, and I feel my heart might turn to stone. When the morning comes.
This is a song called Lanterns. 1, 2, 3.
Light up! When the sunlight filters through your window pane, when the morning threatens to break your chain, you gotta leave that bedroom, you gotta face the day. You gotta find your lantern to light the way. Oh yeah, stoke up the fire. Oh yeah, put fuel on the fire. Light up, light up. connect with people because we're all alive. At the end of the tunnel, we can share the light. Oh, yeah. Stoke up the fire. Oh, yeah. Put fuel on the fire. Light up. Light up. Light up. Light up the lanterns. Light up the lanterns. Light up. Light up. Light up, light up the lanterns, light up the lanterns. Your life in blue. You can see the window, life fills the room. You can be the fuse now to spark the day. You can be the lantern to light the way. Oh yeah, stoke up the fire. Oh yeah, put fuel on the fire. Light up, light up, light up, light up the lanterns, light up the lanterns. Light up, light up, light up, light up the lanterns, light up the lanterns. Light up the lanterns, light up the lanterns.
Wow. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you very much, Rusty Shackle. Can't wait to hear more from you guys later on this evening.
No, absolutely we can't, can we? But we are going to dive straight back into conversation with Barbara and Sue. And Barbara, I'm going to come to you first of all to ask you to explain what exactly emotional health is.
Emotional health, Sian, is the ability to name how you feel. So, for instance, when you get a diagnosis of heaven forbid, cancer or heart failure or whatever, it's very frightening. It's scary. So if you're able to just say, I feel frightened, and talk about it to a friend or a family member or whatever, then that is having good emotional health. And some people do their constructive expression simply through art, through drawing, through painting, through music, through journaling, and so on. It's not all one-to-one conversations.
Thank you. So what is mental health and mental health illness?
I think there's real synergies with what Barbara has said, but I guess the difference is that mental health in its simplest form is kind of how we act, how we feel and how we think. So it's your state of mind as such. And I guess in addition to emotional health or emotional well-being, it's also encompassing kind of psychological and social well-being as well. So as with physical health, our mental health can vary, it can fluctuate from being very poor in some instances to being good in other instances, and that can change over the course of our life, and that can change at different points in time. So mental illness then is there's a range of conditions that can range in severity from mild to severe mental health. But when you reach a point where you're really struggling to manage your emotions, it's really impacting on your day-to-day life and your ability to function. In those instances, it's worth seeing a doctor, and it's worth having support, because the likelihood is that you've stepped into mental illness and you're in need of more specialist support.
Really good advice, thank you for that. And in terms of the partnership, where's the overlap here? Because Mind are in partnership here, one of the partners tonight with Lleswyl. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's there's such commonality in the, you know, in the aim and the mission that we both have as organisations. And I think essentially supporting people at really difficult times in their lives and supporting their emotional health and their emotional well-being is at the crux of what we're both trying to achieve. So I think that, you know, Mind as a federation exists to support people with their mental health and to support people through, you know, social connection, building the space to talk and the space to connect, and I think there's real synergy with that and the Daring to Dream ambitions as well. I think that, you know, the specific focus on kind of supporting people with chronic illness or when their physical health is in a difficult place is very much the focus of Daring to Dream. But I think with Mind, we look to support people with their mental health and their emotional well-being in a variety of different circumstances, but that absolutely links with supporting in physical health conditions as well. So I think that there's a huge opportunity for both organisations to kind of spread the message, spread the support and work together going forward.
And thank you, Sue. We've been delighted that you and Mind Cymru have wanted to partner with us. It does make sense. And it was great to hear the Minister refer to the contribution that we're making, and Lleswyl itself is making, to the improving wellbeing agenda in Wales. A very important agenda for Welsh Government, obviously.
Absolutely.
And an important phrase here, making space to talk, Barbara. And I know that since the last Lleswyl 2024, how the year has flown, but you have been making more space to talk quite literally with some of the projects. Give us an update.
Yes, if we can give you some insight to some of the projects since the last Lleswyl. One that will come to fruition very quickly now is our first in Hywel in Bronglais Hospital, where they've been making over the whole of the chemotherapy outpatients department with the support from lots of people. But we have been particularly supporting a room that they've named the Bluebell Room to support young adults in West Wales living with cancer. So they have got space to talk there following appointments when sometimes the clinical feedback is tough to hear. Another space that we've made over is our third within critical care in University Hospital Wales. We had already made over the quiet room and the relatives room, and then through a lady who sadly through the loss of her husband, she fed back to us how important the loo that serves those two rooms is. That family members, staff members, it's the only place to go to be on your own, kind of compose yourself or have a good cry. It's not just a loo. So that has been made over, and I'll just give one impact figure. 2 senior clinicians in the department believe that across those 3 rooms, there's an annual footfall of about 43,000 people.
Wow.
Gosh.
I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? Needless to say, the quiet room and the relatives room are on our list to hopefully redo next financial year. We've also made over the quiet room in integrated medicine, which is for the elderly in the Heath. And we are at the point of finally doing the first of the Care for the Elderly Day rooms in Princess of Wales Hospital. And that's a huge collaboration with the Health Board, with the hospital staff, with Bridge End Lions, and with Moondance. So that's just some examples of spaces we're making to talk.
Barbara, I'm intrigued, and I'm sure a lot of people are, if you've been a regular viewer down the years to Lleswyl. Thank you. Does Daring to Dream have any statutory funding? Do you get any government support? Do you get any? Is there any guaranteed income? How is it funded? Daring to Dream. That's when I tell people that I'm doing it, they say, "Oh, how does that work then?" So how do you operate?
Well, I think my immediate answer is I wish. Just wish. Just to make it clear. We have got no contracts, no government funding, no local authority funding, no tenders, because we're working from scratch. We rely totally on the generosity of people who have fundraised or donated to us. We are developing some corporate support, and we apply for grants. And, you know, just because I'm a bit of a geek about annual returns and annual accounts, you can read our annual report and accounts online, which gives the breakdown. So, no, we really need the generosity of people to support our work.
Yeah, so there you are. Get online. You can see how you can help fund these projects that Barbara outlined. Just sound so important. So thank you for outlining some of Daring to Dream's current work.
Thank you, Jason. I do think music really helps us handle our feelings and our well-being. So let's hear the first track from Choirs for Good, Abergavenny. Choirs for Good run a number of choirs around Wales for local people to get together, enjoy music, camaraderie, and boost their own well-being and that of others. Here we are. This is the Abergavenny Choir. Wow, heavenly.
That's
heavenly, I'd
gorgeous.
say. It was amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing more from the guys later.
Yeah, absolutely captivating. Let's get back into our conversation with Sue and Barbara. And Sue, are there many adults living in Wales with chronic physical illness, but also with mental health illnesses as well? Do we know any figures there, or any anecdotal research? And in terms of perhaps trying to reduce that number, what can be done? Is it the case that being able to talk about it can help?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think in response to your first question, yes, definitely. There is, it's a fact that people who are living with chronic health conditions have a much higher likelihood to experience poor emotional health and mental health as well. So there is a lot of evidence on that. So absolutely, there are people in Wales living with chronic health conditions who are struggling with their mental health. And being able to talk about that is so important, and we know that there's a challenge in opening up those conversations, but it's critically important. And to give you an example, we've got a partnership with the Stroke Association, and they did some research a couple of years ago looking at people who had experienced a stroke, and up to 50% of them responded that they had experienced low mood and they'd experienced depression. So there's an absolute connection there, and it's really important to create those spaces for conversation. And as well, there's been a latest report from the Senedd Health and Social Care Committee, which just came out last week, I believe, which also kind of shines a light on the importance of looking at our physical health and our mental health in parallel, so that we can have the right level of support, but having conversations and being able to access support is something that makes a huge difference.
Thank you, Barbara. I'd like to bring you in here, and particularly perhaps research that you're aware of and your position on this.
Yes, thanks, Sian, and Sue as well. Just coming back to what you were saying about your association with the Stroke Association, that a bit later this evening, Sian and Tumi will be able to explore what you just said a bit further related to strokes. So that's kind of very timely that you mentioned that. And yet the research that we've been able to access so far confirms what you just said. There is a direct correlation, it's my statistical mathematical background, there is a direct correlation between robust emotional health and faster recovery from illness, and robust emotional health and dealing with the total emotional roller coaster associated with living long term with really quite serious chronic illnesses that are often quite complicated. And you take somebody like me, people look at me and think I look well. Fine, I look well because I'm on steroids as much as anything. Doesn't mean to say I feel on top of the world, doesn't mean to say I'm without pain, doesn't mean to say I'm not dealing with a load of challenges. And there's a whole load of stuff to do with invisible illnesses that report flagged up as well, Sue. It was good that you mentioned that. So thank you, Sian.
No, and Sue, to bring you back in terms of perhaps some extra research and thoughts really, I suppose, about perhaps is there a stigma about talking about mental health? Does that still exist? We've heard about it for many years, but I feel that it's mental health illness is thankfully something that we are talking more about now, to a certain degree anyway.
I think we definitely are. I mean, there's been a big shift in the openness and the willingness for people to speak about emotional health and speak about mental health in particular. But we do know that there is absolutely a stigma in communities, in families. There's self-stigma as well in terms of speaking about our mental health. And the Time to Change Wales campaign, which has been running for over 12 years in Wales now, has made huge progress in terms of opening up conversations about mental health. But it still persists, and there's a lot more to do. And I think that what we've seen is that self-stigma is a big part of this. Very often people don't want to speak about their mental health for fear of being judged, because of shame, not feeling not feeling comfortable having those conversations, and also, fear of judgment or discrimination. So there's a real space for having conversations, and particularly when you're experiencing, physical, chronic physical conditions, it's all the more important that we feel comfortable to have conversations about mental health.
And thank you, Sue. Can I come back on? You've mentioned shame. Shame is one of the 5 core survival emotions which kick in related to diagnosis, treatment, illnesses. And it is quite likely one of the things that hold people back. But I wanted to quickly refer to the Princess of Wales release a couple of weeks ago, related with her early years campaign that she's absolutely passionate about, when she spoke openly about emotional skills. I think people are lacking the language and the skills to talk about their feelings. Then they might bottle them up, then they explode. Not because they just are not controlling it, and it just bursts out. So there's something about developing emotional skills within the curriculum through all of our lives. I think that makes sense, doesn't it, Sue?
100%, and I think there's also that sense of not wanting to be a burden, which is why people very often don't speak openly about their feelings, particularly when they're experiencing, really challenging circumstances. But we know that public attitudes towards mental health have improved, but we've seen a downturn. Overall, they've improved, but we've seen a downturn since 2021. So it is something that, I suppose within Mind and within mental health charities, we're really keen to keep that conversation going. But creating, as you do, creating spaces for people to have conversations. And, even your example earlier about the toilet being a really important space, just to be able to, deal with really difficult, challenging circumstances, but having those spaces in hospitals is critically important.
Such an important conversation. We will be coming back to you. Thank you. I mean, I've learned so much already. I'll speak to you a bit more later on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're just so pleased that Lleswyl 2025 is headlined by Sidiki Dembélé, Mariatou Dembélé and Modou Ndiaye. Their music is a real coming together of cultures, music and people. We're sure you would love tonight's arrangements of them playing with some of the wonderful orchestral musicians in Sinfonia Cymru. Let's have their opening track of the night. Here for you is Shackle, written by Sidiki himself. Enjoy.
Adike balike, adifo balifo. Adifo balifo, adike balike. Shakatike balike, adifo balifo. Adifo balifo, adike balike. Ni fortume maba, sani ereto fote maba, ne mami gehi, kanaga lulu, ne mami fo. Kanaga lonjogo damba nesote. Adifo balifo, adike balifo. Adike balike, adifo balifo.
I'm sure you guys loved that. I absolutely loved and enjoyed that as well.
I think we all did, didn't we? All of us in the studio this evening, absolutely loving the music. Now you'll see that we have a new face with us tonight because Barbara is taking a bit of a break, and in her place we welcome Dr. Nav Masani in person, having seen him on the screen in the video clips earlier. Welcome, Nav. Great to have you with us tonight.
Lovely to be here, thanks.
Well, while we still have Sue as well with us for a little bit longer, we're going to focus now on chronic illness and the potential emotional impact on those living with a long-standing illness. So, Nav, I'd like to come to you first because I know you've got many, many years of experience. How key do you think that emotional health and dealing and understanding that is in terms of being connected to recovery from acute illness, or even with living well with a long-standing illness?
Well, I think we've come to really understand that it's absolutely crucial. We noted that brief, impactful physical events could be overcome quite quickly from the clinical sense, but the emotional damage sometimes, or on the other side, the emotional strength and resilience in terms of recovery really had a longer term effect. Now, that was in terms of people overcoming the illness themselves, being empowered, being happy and positive about recovery. And on the other hand, especially with people with long-term conditions, the opposite would be a fearfulness of coming back into that space. Sometimes just the pure clinical and not ideal physical space that we were in, and memories of those events, memories sort of the emotional scars much more persistent than the physical scars, as it were, and that could impact on people's decisions, and we knew that right from the start, and I'm sure we'll touch on some of the key people we met along the journey who inspired us to do this. But it's been reinforced by talking to people, including Sue just a moment ago. Those, you know, that can affect how someone with a long-term condition chooses to interact with healthcare, to come back into the hospital or not. And so it really focused our minds on how we could improve that initial and ongoing clinical physical contact. So doing the right thing clinically, that's a given, that's what, you know, and sometimes that's the easier thing to do, but really raising awareness and then creating the space to either soften the emotional blow or even enhance the emotional experience.
And when somebody does receive a diagnosis, of course it impacts on them. But it does impact wider as well, doesn't it? Emotionally, on family and friends. And perhaps that refers to what you touched on really in your first answer as well, about some of the patients who particularly stick in your mind, and of course are very important to the charity Daring to Dream as well.
Yeah, I mean, in that regard, if I mention one who was right at the beginning of our journey, well-known patient, Hussein Amiri, he's been strongly linked to the charity, and you'll see photos of his two brothers, Hamid and Hossam, who wrote the book Boy with Two Hearts, fantastic theatre production that came out of that, and they were close to us right at the beginning, and I think we all remember that moment when Hussein's heart condition, which was very severe and he'd been born with, got to the point where we needed to consider a huge decision, which was whether or not to go on a transplant waiting list or be referred at least for consideration of a heart transplant. And that conversation was had in a very difficult environment. It was on a ward. That's the four people on the bed that I referred to in that video clip. Very close to people around us. Everyone else on the ward was about 3 times his age. And we knew that affected him actually, because he spoke about it. We didn't have anywhere else to have that conversation. and we know it affected all of us actually. And it was a very difficult thing to do. Now, it didn't alter his actual trajectory in the end, because we had other opportunities to discuss things. Sadly, he didn't get a transplant. Sadly, he did die. But that always stuck in our memories, and we know that the family were affected by the environment that he was in through the most difficult of times. They were, equally, they were incredibly grateful for the emotional contact of our team. And they've spoken about that in the book, actually, which was very touching. So there were positives that they reflected on around the emotional support that they have all had. But there's no doubt that every week we're talking to patients and their relatives. No one's in hospital for a good reason. Well, not many good reasons. So we know that that team, that family unit, are all affected by the the physical infrastructure, but the effects that has on the emotional interaction.
And does that also affect, of course, the team, the clinical team and the support team, the health professionals?
Massively, especially now. Again, that really was brought to our attention during COVID. In fact, one of the rooms that we made over, the first one was in cardiology, because it was the very rooms we're talking about. And it was when I first met Barbara. But we made a room over on one of the surgical wards, actually, but in COVID, everything was a COVID ward. And that was a tough time for staff. And it was no visitors could come in anyway during that time. So it was the room that the staff went into when they needed a moment. But it wasn't, a room with bags and mould on the wall and storeroom. It had just been made over into a nicely decorated, comforting. It's like a room in your own home. And so the staff were very clear about the feedback they gave us around that. So that's one thing. Staff also need a respite. But also, I think if we're having conversations with people, we're well aware of the surroundings. And it's tough for the staff to do that, but it's very tough if, sometimes you're having it, people are literally walking by because you're having that conversation effectively in a corridor. So that's very impactful on staff, and you're not doing the right thing. But it's the only thing that the staff can do. So once again, both raising awareness of it and understanding that there's nothing we can do, that every space has been taken now. All of our staff coffee rooms are now either clinical rooms or office admin rooms. So just doing something practical, something tangible, that's the single most important thing I think we can do. And then altering awareness.
You've really brought that home to us, and absolutely. And Sue, from the perspective of Mind Cymru, it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on this, really. I mean, there was a statistic that been brought to my attention from Mental Health Foundation, indicating that potentially 400,000 adults in Wales develop mental ill health arising from physical illness, or physical illness arising from mental illness. That certainly seems a staggering figure. I mean, do you have any thoughts on what can be done to prevent this?
It does seem a staggering figure, but I think it's realistic. I think the link between physical health conditions and that, as Nav really kind of illustrated well, the really challenging emotional experience that you have during those times, both as a patient and as a family member or friend, is really well documented. But I think in terms of what we can do, I think from an emotional level, I mean, a lot of what Daring to Dream is doing right now in enabling people to have the space to have those conversations is that really important kind of immediate step. But I think it's also connecting people with early support. So if you anticipate that somebody is going to have an emotionally difficult time, putting the right support from a mental health perspective around the individual, and signposting, providing access to that. And I think as you were talking, it was reminding me so much of my own experience when my daughter was ill many years ago. But I think there is a kind of an ongoing trauma that is experienced by patients and family members that sometimes it doesn't come out until later, but we can signpost and ensure that people have the right information and the right support to access as and when they need to.
Thank you. And Nav, sometimes your relationship with patients and their families, it stretches many years, doesn't it, in terms of their care. Do you think then that time perhaps and the trust, you know, that's built up is important to help with those open conversations that you have to have?
Yeah, I mean, in my particular subspecialty within cardiology includes children who were born with congenital heart disease, things that they were born with, but when they transitioned to being an adult at the age of 17, 18. And those patients, obviously, and those families, they stay with us. They're hopefully long and healthy lives. So we have ongoing interactions with them throughout their lifetime. And I think that there is undoubtedly something about building up trust, understanding the clinical and emotional needs of that person. But again, I would stress that is not always easy, partly because not all clinicians and non-clinical staff have that as their main focus. Partly, again, because in the hustle and bustle of a hospital, which is most of our most intense or acute interactions occur, it's just not possible to have that mindset, again, unless you really put that in place. So it's both an opportunity to build up trust, but then sometimes it's a missed opportunity because we only have these intermittent interactions and we never address that issue, because on that one time you might see them every 6 or 12 months, you're focused on, are they on the right meds? Have they had their right tests this year? Test results. So actually, even if you've built up a long-term relationship, you still have to work quite hard on the sort of trust, kindness, emotional support issues.
Yeah, I mean, that would just bring you in on that. So, I mean, it was picking up a lot as well on what you were saying earlier, and how important is it that patients are also involved in the decision-making, perhaps relating to issues that might be connected then around their mental health and their emotional well-being as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I suppose, as we mentioned previously, there's, and I think you touched on this as well, that stigma, talking about your kind of feelings is difficult, and there is a stigma, but that stigma also exists in health settings. It's not just kind of at home or kind of in your community or in your workplace. I think sometimes people's negative experience can be based on the experience that they have, as you say, because it's difficult to have conversations in a really kind of emotional way when it's happening in a corridor or when there isn't the space to have privacy, I guess. So we've done some work recently through Time to Change Wales with a couple of health boards across Wales, where we've developed a kind of an anti-stigma module, which is really just working with a number of different clinicians around, I suppose, having mental health in your, at the front of your mind when you're having conversations, accepting of course that isn't your primary focus when you're dealing with people with physical health conditions. But I think having that space for conversations, whether the conversation is at the point of diagnosis or that conversation is at a later point, it's all helping in terms of emotional and physical health being looked at kind of side by side.
Well, you've certainly, both of you, I think, really made the case for making space to talk. Thank you very much. We'll come back to you in a little bit.
Thank you so much to Nav and Sue. Thank you so much. I'd like to introduce Pet Shop Boys Actually.
Well, hello from around the world, wherever you're watching and whenever you're watching. He's not Chris Lowe, I'm not Neil Tennant, but we are the Pet Shop Boys actually. We're here to entertain you with some classic Pet Shop Boys hits. Sing along if you know the words.
Maybe I never told you
Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could. Little things I should have said and done, I never took the time. But you were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. And I guess I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. If I made you feel second best, I'm so sorry I was blind. But you were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Tell me that your sweet love hasn't died. Give me one more chance to keep you satisfied. Satisfied.
every day, always, always on my mind. Every day, always on my mind.
Little things I should have said and done, I never took the time. But you were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Tell me that your sweet love hasn't died. Give me one more chance to keep you satisfied. You were always on my mind. 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 Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. And I guess I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. Maybe I didn't love you.
More music coming up later, but first of all, Sue, I know that, well, we've certainly enjoyed having you here with us this evening. We're not going to let you go quite yet because we want to get a little bit more important information from you before you do leave. Tell us about the helplines, first of all, that Mind Cymru have, because I'm sure that's going to be useful for people listening tonight, and certainly for all of us as well.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for sharing the information as well. We've, so as you mentioned, Mind have 4 helplines. So we have a helpline which focuses on information, so it can give you information for yourself personally or for others that you're seeking to support on how to access help, on what's available in your local community, or just information, basic information about mental health. We've also got a support line which can provide kind of immediate support in instances where people are in distress, or they need to talk, or they need to have a listening ear, and that's available via one of the helplines as well. If you're in a situation where you need support of a specific legal nature, so for example, if you've been sectioned under the Mental Health Act, or if there's specific kind of legal elements that you want to have specialist information on, we also have a helpline focusing on that. And similarly for welfare and benefits advice, or if there's real challenges financially, our 4th helpline is supporting in that way. So the numbers are all available on our website, and the link is there to share. But then I think 24/7 as well, we've got an online peer support platform called Side by Side. So there's about 90,000 users at the moment, and everybody has their own experience of mental health and kind of emotional challenges. So it's a great space to connect, to kind of share experiences, and to do things like this. There's lots of opportunities to kind of host events and engage in that way. And the final thing I wanted to mention is that we also have on our website an absolute huge range of information about all manner of mental health conditions, and support and different kind of techniques that you might want to avail of if you go onto the Mind website.
Any other services that you want to share? You've given us a lot, but I know you do so much.
Very briefly, we have a network of 16 local minds across Wales, and actually if anybody's listening from England, we also have another 80 or so local minds across England as well. They are organisations in your local community where you can have face-to-face support, where you can you can access, you can drop in, or you can make appointments. There's counselling, there's all manner of support available. So I would encourage anybody who is struggling emotionally, even if you don't feel that it's that serious, I think if you would benefit from support, go and speak to somebody.
That's fantastic. And also I think worth saying that this information will also be available to watch back, because you can watch Lleswyl back, of course, on YouTube. So plenty of places to be able to pick up the information afterwards. One final thought, I think, perhaps before you leave us, about the importance of the partnership between Mind Cymru supporting tonight, Lleswyl and Daring to Dream, and then Nav, I'll come to you for a word on that as well. But Sue,
thank
first.
you. I was wanting to come back to that, so thank you for asking. I think that partnerships are so important. I think it allows us to reach more people. It allows us to kind of share the common messages that we have, and I think it's just the way to really unlock the power of all the stories that we hear, all of the experiences that people have. And I think through Mind and Daring to Dream and partnerships that we have with other organisations are absolutely critical to helping us to reach people and make sure that anybody who is in need of support gets it.
Now, if that ring true with you as well. I mean, I've certainly learned a lot from Sue, and from you as well tonight.
Well, first of all, congratulations, Sue, on astonishing achievements from your charity and Mind. I mean, it's
thank you.
Fantastic what you are offering. Inspirational for us as a charity as well. I think it really does dovetail, doesn't it? So our initial angle was very much about hospitals and the experience, then understanding the issues of emotional health. And then as we've learnt more, we've been very wary of not overstepping our mark, not overstepping our expertise qualifications, but then obviously through Barbara and others connecting with other people who do, and that way obviously the two partners, this kind of activity will have a broader reach. It'll be greater than the sum of the two parts, and we can certainly learn a lot. And evidently, we know that physical illness, our starting point, has an effect on emotional health and well-being, which can lead on to mental ill health, and there's a spectrum in between. So it really did resonate, and I think it's fantastic to have you here tonight. It's fantastic to have your support, and I look forward to the conversations flowing after this event.
Likewise, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, we've loved having you with us here this evening. Thank you so much, Sue.
Thank you so much, Sue. Thank you, Nav, for being here with us. While Sue leaves us, we'll head over to the Inner Voices. Sue and Nav, actually. I think Nav's going to be with us for the rest of the afternoon. Yeah?
Oh yeah, he's not going yet.
Yeah, we'll head over to the Inner Voices and their fabulous arrangements of Crazy What Love Can Do, Hen Fechatan, a traditional Welsh song, and over to that and Black and Gold as well.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Crazy love can do. Crazy love can do. Crazy love. Crazy what love can do. Crazy what love can do. Crazy what love. Wrap me up in diamonds, cover me in gold. Nothing they could buy me could make my heart whole. Giving up on romance, then I found you. Ain't it crazy what love can do? Crazy what love can do. Someone tell me what is happening to me. You're my oxygen, now I can finally breathe. Didn't care for anyone until there was you. Ain't it crazy what love can do? Crazy what love can do. Da 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 dum dum da 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 dum da da. Crazy what love can do. Crazy what love can do.
Wrap me up in diamonds, gold balls, and nothing they can buy me make my heart whole.
I was lonely, lonely, then I found you. Ain't it crazy what love can do? Crazy what love can do.
I don't ever wanna close my eyes, 'cause this feeling's like paradise. Never felt like this in my whole life. Ain't it crazy what love can do? Can someone tell me what is happening to me? You're my oxygen, now I can finally breathe.
Till there was you. Ain't it crazy what love can do? Crazy what love.
Crazy what love
Crazy what love.
Crazy what happened to
You're
me.
my oxygen, now I can finally breathe.
Didn't care for anyone
Till there was you. Ain't it crazy what love can do? Crazy what love can do.
Hen ferchetan wedi colli chariad,
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
cael un harach dan oedd y bwriad.
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
Ond nid oedd un o'r lanciau'r pentref,
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
am briodi Lisa bach yr hendre.
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
Hen ferchetan sydd yn dal i drio,
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
gwisgo lasys sydd yn ac yn bincio.
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
Ond neb o bran i fran yn rhywle,
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
nid oes neb i Lisa bach yr hendre.
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
Hen ferchetan wedi colli cariad,
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
cael un harach dan oedd y bwriad.
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
Ond nid oedd un o'r lanciau'r pentref,
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
am briodi Lisa bach yr hendre.
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
Hen ferchetan sydd yn dal i drio,
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
gwisgo lasys sydd yn ac yn bincio.
Fadi-radi-radi-do.
Oni bo brani vanen vule Nidus nebili se wakker hendre
And started talking, and the stars fell out of the sky, and the tears rolled into the ocean, and I'm looking for a reason why you even set my world into motion. 'Cause if you're not really here, stars don't even matter, and I go to the top of it, that it's all just a function. Next to you, black and gold, black and gold, black and gold, black and gold. Next to you, black and gold, black and gold, black and gold.
They were incredible. I'm sure
You like that?
Yes,
Yeah?
absolutely loved it. I'm sure you guys loved that at home as well. You know they're the top a cappella group in the UK in 2024.
Award-winning.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Absolutely. Once again, thank you to Lleswyl and Cwmbran. And now, it's over to Jason with the socials.
Yes, don't forget we're on Facebook, X and Insta. We are at Daring to Dream 5 and on B-Sky as well, daringtodream.bsky.social. And the hashtag is Lleswyl 2025. Now, we're talking to Barbara earlier, and she's been telling us how Daring to Dream makes spaces to talk in hospitals to support patients and their families when they're at their most vulnerable. They work with clinical areas to turn quiet rooms, relatives' rooms, and ward day rooms into comfortable and comforting rooms for those very tough clinical conversations and times. These really are emotional refuges. They help the family members support each other emotionally, as well as to discuss clinical advice. They're often a place to cry. And they are so important and positioned in clinical areas so that they can also provide a much needed space for members of staff to take time out. We forget about that. They're only human after all when they feel overwhelmed or distressed themselves. And we have a huge waiting list of rooms that require our touch. Daring to Dream, as you heard, has no guaranteed income at all, no government or local authority funding. We're entirely dependent on your generosity in fundraising, our own fundraising, some corporate support and successful grant applications. And for example, what you donate, £10, it pays time for a family to talk. £30 buys a pick-me-up gift package. £50 covers the cost of painting one wall in a quiet or family room. So please do help us make even more spaces to talk by donating to daringtodream.wales. And when you do that, if you're very kind, thank you, please don't forget to gift aid too. And don't forget to tag us all in your social media posts. Now, before we move into the next part of tonight's conversation, here's a very scary statistic. 1 in 2 of us will be affected by cancer over our lifetime. Kind of shocking, really.
Really shocking.
That statistic. This is why Lleswyl 2025 is shining a light on 3 very important community support projects for those living with and alongside cancer. All projects are funded by McMillan Cancer Support. This support quite different from clinical appointments, guidance and treatments. It also provides spaces to talk about emotions, about finances. You forget about that, don't you? And also a raft of other essentials that arise from being ill. The community support projects funded by McMillan Cancer Support are Bridge End Carers, Pavo Community Support and Coalfields Regeneration Trust Community Support.
McMillan's vision is all about supporting people affected by cancer and doing whatever it takes to ensure that they get the support they need today. But what we're also trying to do is spark a revolution in cancer care for the future. To support patients and their loved ones, McMillan has its direct services, which include our support line, our website, and our online community for people affected by cancer. On the ground in Wales, we have 500 professionals. We have partners across NHS, third sector, social enterprise, and others. Today, you're going to see 3 videos where we work in collaboration with some of our partners, where we bring the cancer expertise and our partners bring their expertise within their communities.
It's hard to define the space because we are a service to carers and cancer patients. Every day is different. Wednesday is the community cafe where carers and some cancer patients will come along, meet with people going through similar situations and talk through things together.
The ethos is anybody that's struggling or is a carer and anybody that needs some time out. They can come here, come to the cafe, lovely environment. You can chat about anything and just get them smiling.
My first experience of Bridge End Care is about 2015. The support I've had from has been excellent, but also it's things like, instead of being stuck in the house worrying about your problems and issues, you get this chance to meet up with other people who are in caring roles or with McMillan, but most importantly is having the company and having that laugh and a joke. You know, you suddenly realise you're not on your own. There are people around to support you. And that, I think, is what is important.
It's an incredible charity. People will actually tell us, without your service, we don't know how we cope through very, very difficult days.
Some people don't even see anybody all week and they come here and they're able to talk. Talking is like a therapy. Once you feel you can talk, it helps you grab from within to bring it out.
Well, my name is Ruth, but everyone calls me Nettie for short. I have stage 4 cancer and I was in a very dark corner. A lady from Pavrev called me and we started talking and her name was Penny. She helped me in a lot of ways, telling me about different walks I could go on, places to go and chat and meet people. Before I met Penny, I didn't know about these places. And the good support that I've got from Pavrev is unbelievable. I can phone Penny up any day and I know that she would help me because she's always been there any time, or if I'm not sure of something, they will find out these things for you. If you anytime go through a dark patch, there's someone there to help you. There's someone there to hold your hand. Once you've done that first step to act, you've got that support.
When I received my diagnosis, I knew I needed help from beyond my immediate friends and family. You don't realise how much sort of support and so many different ways that you will become to rely on throughout your cancer journey.
There's a legacy of health inequalities in former wholefield communities. CRT's role is trying to pull everyone together to get the change that we need for people.
Communities know communities best.
and the people they serve. There's phenomenal work going on out there. I think where there's real strength is uniting and collaborating around the cause.
I think it's really important to find local sort of support, because there's nothing like being able to go and see people and meet them face to face and have a proper chat.
It has allowed sort of like the people that we have been working with to feel as if they have someone there for them and with them. And I think that's a great help to those who maybe thought that when they were diagnosed with cancer and they walked away from that hospital, that they didn't realise that there was opportunities to have sort of support with their finances or with their transport, or that they had the opportunity to have things like free counselling.
Everyone is pulling together to try to respond to the need.
And we have to make it work so that we can then leave a legacy behind that somebody, whether that'll be health, whether that'll be local organisations, whether that'll be Welsh Government, will see the value in the programme to take it forward.
Hopefully you've been inspired by those 3 videos that you've seen today. If you or a loved one are affected by cancer and would like any more support, please do not hesitate to get in contact with the McMillan support line. Please call 0808 808 0000. You can also access all our online support through macmillan.org.uk.
Well, we wish everyone well who helps with each of those projects or receives help from them. They are all doing an incredible job. Thank you. Diolch yn fawr.
We are now moving into the next area of tonight's conversation. This time, we are thinking about women living with chronic illnesses and their experiences and the impact on their emotional as well as physical health. A very warm welcome to Liz Williams, and welcome back Barbara into the space.
There is Liz. Liz, welcome to Lleswyl 2025. How lovely to see you.
Diolch yn fawr, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Liz. And we're doing this a little bit differently, as you now know, because sadly, Libby, who is going to be joining you and having a conversation with you tonight, she's too poorly to join us. So Libby, we wish you well and you get back on an even keel as soon as possible. And what we thought we'd do, Liz, instead, was to focus, because your work is all about women living with chronic illness, to focus on what Fair Treatment of Women in Wales does. And I'll ask you 1 or 2 questions about that and about the 10-year Women's Health Plan that Welsh Government have recently announced. So maybe, if you're happy to start, Liz, can you tell us first of all, what is the Fair Treatment of Women of Wales, for Women of Wales, all about? What is it your charity stands for? Thank you.
Yes, of course. So Fair Treatment for the Women of Wales is a patient-led charity and disabled people's organisation. Our focus is on addressing health inequalities, and these are inequalities experienced by women, girls and people registered female at birth who are disabled or living with a range of health conditions. So we provide a pan-Wales community space, and this space is online. So this means members can come together, share their experiences and find ways forward in their health journeys with the support of their peers. And we also work with members to make sure that their voices are heard by key decision and policy makers. And this is, around health policy, practice and research. So we often facilitate focus groups with key stakeholders such as Welsh Government, NHS Wales and the Senedd.
That's really helpful, Liz, because what you're explaining is you're very much about finding out from the women across Wales the issues that concern them, helping give them a voice and helping campaign from what you learn. So in terms of all of your members, what are the key areas that have surfaced that concern women living in Wales with chronic illness?
Well, as you can imagine, we hear so many different stories from our members, but I'll try and stick to 3 to 4 points this evening.
Thank you.
One thing that comes out very, very strongly from our members is that they do experience difficulty when it comes to getting their voices heard. And we're talking about, the mental health and emotional health impact this evening, and that has takes such a toll on our members' mental health. So members tell us that they often feel that their symptoms are dismissed. Just a quote we've heard is, everyone has periods, so stop making a fuss out of nothing. That's something that our members have heard many, many times before. And we know that gender stereotypes contribute to health inequalities for women, girls, and people registered female at birth. Sometimes health seeking can be seen as being melodramatic or attention seeking or being oversensitive, and this means that members don't always feel that their needs are being taken seriously, and of course this leads to frustration, feeling invalidated, feeling anxious, and feeling incredibly upset. Our members also tell us that they experience long diagnostic delays, and there's a wealth of evidence to show that those health conditions that do disproportionately or uniquely impact women tend to incur longer diagnostic delays, and then they don't get the treatment they need. So just an example of this, it takes on average 10 years to diagnose endometriosis in Wales. This is up to 26 people. Appointments. So while people are waiting for these types of diagnoses, they're living with debilitating pain. They feel isolated, lonely. We know so many people have had to give up work. They've experienced a relationship breakdown. So all of this takes such a toll when people aren't seen in a timely way. And just one more thing I want to mention is patient journeys can be incredibly complex and not straightforward. Our members have multiple morbidities, lots of different health conditions, but members describe how they often feel that their different body parts are being dealt with in completely, different areas, different kind of specialties and different departments. And it's a situation where departments don't always communicate well with each other, so members don't understand why they're on different medication, and there's that feeling of hopelessness and not knowing what the answer is. And I think that really does impact on our members' mental health, and that's why charities like FTWW exist.
Seriously, Liz, thank you very much, because I couldn't believe when you just said that what you found is that a diagnosis of endometriosis, for instance, could take 10 years.
Wow.
I know.
That's incredible.
And I have lupus, and lupus is another condition that is known for taking many years for a diagnosis to come about. And meanwhile, I live with a collection of different complications, and as a patient what it feels like, and yet you might look okay and your blood tests might be okay, and actually it's how you get everything to marry up, isn't it? The patient story, the clinical data, and actually a holistic approach, and it's really challenging for us. So you must be, FTWW, must be utterly delighted with the development of Welsh Government putting in place the 10-year Women's Health Plan in Wales. Do you want to talk a bit about that? Because it's a really, really good thing for Wales, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's such a great thing, as you say, for there to be that recognition that women do experience health inequalities and do need more attention on those conditions. And a key factor that led to this plan being developed in the first place was an NHS Wales discovery report published in 2002, and as part of that research 4,000 women were surveyed, and regardless of the condition they lived with, every single one said their priority was to have their voices heard. That's huge, and that reflects the fact that historically they haven't had their voices heard. So this feels like a real step forward, and it feels like a commitment by the Welsh Government to address some of these issues and to tackle these health inequalities. We're particularly pleased as a patient-led organisation to learn of Welsh Government's commitment to co-production and embedding women's voices and experience in service design and delivery and evaluation. that's the only way to make sure that services work for patients, you know, to actually use their insights and experiences to shape how we deliver services. But of course, you know, we know this plan is new. It was only published in December. It's a first step, you know, it sets out the overarching vision for women's health in Wales. But what comes next is most important. You know, a plan is only as good as its implementation, and organisations like ours are going to play such a critical role in ensuring implementation is done properly and that co-production is meaningful, you know, that patients' voices are brought in at the earliest stage of design, and hopefully services will be better for the women of the future.
Liz, that's really helpful. And you probably didn't hear me say earlier in the conversation with Sue O'Leary that I've begun to believe that maybe many people, men and women, do not have the language to talk about their emotions, which is one reason what they're not talking about. And I wonder if women and men across Wales and younger people maybe don't have the language always to talk about whatever is troubling them physically or mentally, health-wise, so that their voices get heard. And I'm wondering if there's more we can do in terms of skill building. You know, that's my background, isn't it, of education and CPD work and so on, that could be really beneficial to everybody, all age, whatever gender, so that they work, you know, directly in co-production with clinical, medical people, teams. And Libby, had she been here, would have chatted to you about shared decision making, which is her specialist research area. But that's all part of people's voices being heard, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think so many people feel so much shame. And I think when you go so long without being listened to, you can learn to accept that this just might be your sort of, this will be how you live forever. And actually enabling people to have a space, a safe space to talk and to, you know, that peer support. We know how important that is, that friendship, that safe space so people can really talk about their experiences. But you're right, there is a level of sort of upskilling and training that's needed to empower and encourage people to do that. You know, we know it takes a lot of work to get people to a point where they can self-advocate and they can challenge unfair decisions, for example. But ultimately, the more we talk and use our bad experiences, that hopefully they can empower people to do things that lead to change. You know, that's what we see with our members. They come together, they share their experiences, but they feel empowered afterwards. They feel like they're making a difference. And actually, what we can do as FTWW is get them in the room with the people who can make a difference, with those policy and decision makers. And hopefully members can then see, you know, my experience is making a difference. And it's so important. I think there's been a real shift in Wales recently, where, you know, key stakeholders like the Welsh Government, like NHS Wales, genuinely want to hear from patients in order to improve services. I feel like that's been tangible.
Yeah, that it makes total sense, Liz. And just two things to pick out there. One was named by Sue O'Leary. You commented on shame, which is what silences people. I think that's an important area to explore, not now, because we're out of time. And you also spoke about trust, which Nav Basani alluded to as well. And I have always said these conversations need to take place in co-created, trusted relationships. Liz, thank you ever so much. The work you're doing, we're delighted to say congratulations to FTWW for winning the most influential small organisation in the Welsh Charity Awards at the end of last year. Incredibly well deserved. And part of what you have campaigned and work towards is this women's health plan. So keep on going. We will keep talking. We've got a lot in common to develop and take forward as well. Liz, thank you ever so much. And I should have said, Liz is the Vice Chair of FTWW, Fair Treatment for Women of Wales.
Excellent. Keep up the good work, Liz. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Val. Thanks
Brilliant.
very much for having me.
Thank you, Liz
Thank
Williams. Excellent stuff.
Now, time for a quick music break. Let's listen to our log again. They got two beautiful and relaxing airs, the kind of tracks to definitely chill out to. Now take a seat back and enjoy.
Oh, thank you, diolch ar log. Actually, play that before you go to bed, you'd be sleeping like one. We have more guests joining us here on Lleswyl 2025. More from them and from our new guest in a few minutes. But first, we'll go straight to the Pet Shop Boys, actually, and It's a Sin.
This next song is for all of those who don't fit in, who follow their instincts and are told they sin.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But I spent so many nights just thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. Go on now, girl, walk out the door, just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with a goodbye? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh no, not I will survive. I will survive.
When I look back upon my life, it's always with a sense of shame. I've always been the one to blame. For everything I long to do, no matter when or where or who, has one thing in common too. It's a sin. It's a sin. Everything I've ever done, everything I ever do, every place I've ever been, everywhere I'm going to, it's a sin. At school it taught me how to be so pure in thought and word and deed. They didn't quite succeed. For everything I long to do, no matter when or where or who, has one thing in common too. It's a sin. It's a sin. Everything I've ever done, everything I ever do, every place I've ever been, everywhere I'm going to, it's a sin. Father, forgive me. I tried not to do it. Turned over a new leaf, then tore right through it. Whatever you taught me, I didn't believe it. Father, you fought me, 'cause I didn't care, and I still don't understand. So I look back upon my life, forever with a sense of shame. I've always been the one to blame. For everything I long to do, no matter when or where or who, has one thing in common too. It's a sin. It's a sin. Everything I've ever done, everything I ever do, every place I've ever been, everywhere I'm going to, it's a sin.
Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to
It's a sin. It's a sin. I will survive. I will survive. Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much, Pet Shop Boys, actually. And yes, it would have been a sin, actually, to not include. Come on, give me something here. Give me something here. Don't forget, you can donate to us while we're on Lleswyl 2025. And of course, you can donate anytime to Daring to Dream at your convenience. Don't forget, a donation of £10 pays time for a family to talk. We all need to talk, right? £30 buys a pick-me-up gift package, and £50, that will cover the cost of painting one wall in a quiet or a family room. So please do help us make even more spaces to talk by donating to daringtodream.wales. And don't forget, when you are kind enough to donate money, please tick the gift aid box. Thank you.
Good advice, Jace. And thank you for your donations in advance. We know that many of you have donated already, but please keep them coming in. Now, earlier we were talking about what women are thinking about when living with chronic illness, but let's turn that conversation now to what men are thinking about when they're living with chronic illness, their experiences and the impact on their emotional as well as physical health. You'll see that a new face has joined Nav. Welcome to Chris Birch. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Chris, we want to hear all about you. You're in the hot seat right now, nothing too serious, but we know you're a really, really busy guy and you're involved in broadcasting. You've got a really interesting career with the creative industry sector. So first of all, tell us a bit about you and what you're involved with.
Well, first of all, it's very difficult to say that I'm a broadcaster to two broadcasters here. But I'm going to say it at the same time. Thank you very much. No, my involvement in the creative sector is helping people turn their passion into their profession. So if you're a hobbyist artist, or if you're in the creative sector and you think, where am I going to go next with my career, we help support that effectively. So if you're a ceramicist or a potter, or if you're a painter, we'll help you take you from where you are there as a hobbyist, and we'll help you take you to a profession essentially.
Wow.
So we do guided support and all sorts of things like that. That came about because I love the creative sector. So, but I've also produced quite a few documentaries for BBC and a few other places, and I've written a book. And the book came about as a result of the impact that a stroke had on me when I was 20. So
20.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I mean, that's what
Yeah.
we want to hear more about that, Chris, because obviously Lleswyl, we're all about, well, spreading the love tonight, actually, obviously with the music and the conversation here for people who wouldn't necessarily be getting to a live gig, and obviously they can watch from wherever they are this evening. But in terms of your own story and that synergy that you have with Daring to Dream and what the charity are trying to achieve, tell us a bit about what happened to you.
Well, it's very interesting because I was chatting with Barbara, and Barbara is a force. We had a great
Force of
chat.
nature.
You're not telling us.
Well, we had a great chat, and the conversation really sort of resonated with me because, yeah, I had a stroke when I was 20, and the NHS, as great as it is, this is not an NHS bashing session for me whatsoever, but they are very focused on getting you physically fit and getting you back to the state that you need to be in order to function in society, which I really appreciated, and without them, very, very unlikely would be sat here having this conversation right now. However, when you go back, when you're physically well, when you're back to physicality and you're back to normal, you go straight back to work because you get a fit note or whatever it may be, and you go straight back to work and you just carry on with life. And I was chatting with Barbara about this, and I said, well, what's happened there is I was back to physically normal, so I assumed I would be back to being emotionally and mentally normal at the same time. And I'm not going to say I had a mental break, and I think if we had a word for it, if we could describe it, if we could articulate it with a word, it would be a step before that.
A wobble kind of thing.
A wobble. We'll go with a wobble.
Should we go with a wobble?
That'll do for me.
All right, okay.
I had a wobble around 8 to 10 months after I'd completely physically recovered and I was back in work. And when Barbara and I were chatting, I suddenly realised that that's because we don't have anything set up to combat that or to talk about that. And I found it very, very difficult to articulate how I was feeling at the time. And because I never forget, I had this wobble in my grandmother's house, and
it's a good place to have a wobble, in fairness.
To be fair, she was a good cook.
Yeah,
she was a good cook, but that didn't help at the time. And she said, "What's the matter? What's wrong with you?" And I said, and the words couldn't come out. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. It was just a complete breakdown in so many ways, and I can only attribute that to being physically normal, but having some emotional or something that hadn't quite been dealt with.
You hadn't processed.
That's quite right. Yeah. So yeah, the words still fail me now. And I think if I'd been able to deal with that, if there had been some sort of support mechanism, I'm not saying that again, not an NHS bashing session, nothing like that, but if there had been some support in place, potentially that wouldn't have happened, or if it had, it could have been dealt with a lot more swiftly, or I would have known to expect it. If that makes sense.
Wow, that is quite a story at 20 years old. Nav, would you be kind enough to tell us what you and your colleagues have learnt about the emotional impact on patients, just like Chris, and what happened to him?
Yeah, I mean that is an extraordinary thing to go through, obviously.
Incredible.
And turned into something positive now, which is an astonishing achievement. But I do think that the story is actually quite a common one.
Okay.
We see people with heart conditions, obviously the stroke team, and we'll see that all the time. So it's completely normal for us to be dealing with. But
it's not normal when it happens to you, is it?
Exactly.
That's the thing.
It's a unique experience for that individual, and that is something that it's not easy for us to tune into. Because, as Chris will say, we have to be focused on the physical and clinical treatments and recoveries. But what I think, it doesn't mean we can't also try and tune into the emotional impact. Now, it is fair to say that Chris's team, who looked after him in hospital, will not be aware of that happening.
No, because it's their job, as you said, to get them through and get them better.
I'm assuming they weren't in your grandma's house.
Not at the time, sadly, no.
So we won't know of that. And what they will have known is that they'll have seen someone very young have a stroke, make a good clinical recovery, and the team will have been overjoyed about that.
They would have been very impressed.
Yeah. So it comes back to that issue. We only understand that ongoing impact if we're then connected to it, and that sort of circle is completed. Now that doesn't happen in the clinical system that we work in, either because that team doesn't need to see you again, which is obviously the desired effect, or because when they do come back and seeing us again, once again we're focused on those clinical elements.
Yeah.
So again, through these conversations, one of my roles in the team really is how that impacts on our clinical day-to-day, and what influence we can have about changing what we do at the time of the event. Because of that understanding that it might not really mature and come out and affect the person until much later.
When they have the wobble. It's very interesting to hear both points of view from you on the inside and it happening to you, Chris, and what happened after. Can we pause our chat at the moment to meet somebody else, a remarkable lady who has also had a stroke. This interview between Jude Price, who's the founder of Nana Punk Collective, and Gemma Hicks, the Community Engagement Officer from the Wales Millennium Centre, explains it all. Nana Punk, by the way, is a collective specifically for women over 50. And I know they don't exist because, you know, you always remember a lady's birthday but never her age. So they provide an amazing opportunity to learn skills, make friends and have space for themselves. And following on their interview, we'll go straight to 2 tracks: Safe Gigs for Women and Idiots Everywhere. Enjoy.
I'm Gemma. I am the Senior Community Engagement Producer at Wales Millennium Centre.
I am Jude, Nana Punk. Idea. I give it to Millennium Centre and here we are.
So Jude came to Wales Millennium Centre with an idea about forming a punk band, and the idea was to bring women together so they could perform, and it may be women who were in the original punk era who may have missed out. She wanted to do that in Newport, where Newport has a great music scene, and she really wanted Wales Millennium Centre to support and encourage and be able to bring the idea to life. So we went ahead with that and developed Nana Punk this year for Llais Festival 2024.
The year before I have stroke, so that is why project run this year, because it gave me time to get over stroke, because my speech went and I had to learn talk again and walk and lots of things. So it has been a bit of steep journey, but not dead, so you know. People meet people they have not met before in other circles. We meet every week, we have good laugh. It is all about women over 50, having chance to be with other women over 50 and explore interest that they have in common and to make up nutty songs or experiences of life and just like celebrate being older, because we're very fortunate to be older. A lot of people not get to be old like us, so it is a privilege to be old.
Nana Punk meets every week on a Sunday at the Cab in Newport. We rehearse in various locations, but the Cab is our home, and we will be hosting a gig there in March, on March 22nd. We are going to have a new Nana Punk. We are going to have a new Nana Punk intake shortly, and we're looking to recruit new nanas, but no experience is necessary. We provide lessons. We have lots of other women from the punk scene who come in, teach instruments, teach people to play different things. So there is absolutely no experience required. We just really want to encourage people that might think they have something to offer to the project and they want to make new friends, play music together. Then we'd love to meet them. So it's a really exciting project to be involved in.
They just bored and they want something to do, innit?
Yeah.
It has been laugh. Have made lots of new acquaintance through doing a project. We have been places that probably not envisaged at beginning. There are opportunities opening up for the nanas, and it has been a good laugh. So thank you all for coming be and part of it. So it is good laugh. This is Safe Gigs for Women.
Safe gigs, safe gigs, safe gigs for women. Safe gigs, safe gigs, safe gigs. That's what we want. No means no, it don't mean yes. So get your out of my dress. Walk into the club and you think you're it, but let me tell you something, you ain't. I've heard your chat up lines before, so you can just off out the door. Safe gigs, safe gigs, safe gigs for women. Safe gigs, safe gigs, safe gigs. That's what we want. Barry White, you think you are, so you can just off in your car. Monica Lewinsky, I'm definitely not. I ain't gonna suck your. So just jog on, I think it's best, and go and rub your own chest. Yeah, safe gigs, safe gigs, safe gigs for women. Safe gigs, safe gigs, safe gigs. That's what we want. don't ask me to dance. There's no chance of a little romance. Just off then, back in your corner. Just off then, a little jack corner. So I can walk free from your hands. Stand at the front and see the band. Yes, safe gigs, safe gigs, safe gigs. For women, safe gigs, safe gigs, safe gigs. That's what we want. Hey there you, stop touching me and get your hand out of where I like to pee. Get out my face and back to your friends, 'cause this is where your story ends. Keep away from my jiggly bits, and most of all, keep your hands off my bits. Safe gigs, safe gigs, safe gigs. For women, safe gigs, safe gigs, safe gigs. That's what we want now. Every time I go outside, idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Drives me crazy, my brains are fried. Idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Hold my breath and count to 10. Look out, here we go again. Whether sick of it, idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Get off your idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. As a mess, I do confess. Go and blurt it to the press. Every time I go outside, oh, idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Drives me crazy and my brains are fried. Idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Hold my breath and count to 10. Look out, here we go again. 1, 2, 3, go, go, go. Every time we go outside, idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Drive me crazy, my brains are fried. Idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. On the bus and on the train, why are people such a pain? Every time I go outside, yeah, idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Every time idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Hold my breath and count to 10. Look out, here we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I'll stay inside, yeah. Idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Safe from warm and snow. Idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Nothing can possibly go wrong. Oh, the dogs on the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every time I go outside, yeah, idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Drives me crazy and my brains are fried. Idiots everywhere, idiots everywhere. Hold my breath and count to 10. Oh, look out, here we go again.
Now that is a great example about focusing on emotional and also social health to enable recovery.
It's a hit right there,
Yes.
isn't it? It's a hit, that is.
Absolutely. They did an amazing job.
And very apt as well.
I'm no comment. Now, Chris, back to you, because it's been fascinating hearing your story. And, thank you so much for sharing it with us and being here with us tonight. Absolutely incredible, and it's great to see you so fit and healthy now. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
One thing I have got to ask, from what you were saying about what happened to you personally after the body was fixed, in a way, you had this response. I mean, do boys bottle it up?
Do you know, I think it would be tough to generalize, but I think there is a perception that men don't talk about their feelings. Equally, I think there is a perception that women sometimes are referred to as talking too much. I'm sorry,
oversharing.
No, we're talking. That's good to.
But I do think that sometimes is completely. So I do think that. I don't know. I think it's different depending on who you are, but I think as a general rule, then yes, I think men bottle it up more
Because you when you were such a young man, which really you were just in 20, so barely out of boyhood, really.
Yeah, and I think it was very difficult to be able to articulate myself and to articulate what was happening to me, and as a result, then everything sort of built up. So yeah, I would say for me personally, I would 100% say I bottled it up. But yeah, I think there's a social sort of side to this where I do think that we do need to talk more, and I do think we need to break down that barrier a little bit as well.
Well, thank you for talking with us tonight, and I can see there's a great podcast brewing between the two of you about bottling it up.
That's a good name for a podcast.
There we are.
Wobble.
A wobble, yeah.
I mean,
deal's been made.
There you are. We've done it. We've done it in front of witnesses. So it's gonna happen.
We'll be tuning in for that one. Now, time is against us, so we're going to get into another track because Choirs for Good are going to sing their arrangements of a classic pop track from many, many years ago. I don't know if I'll remember it. I'm a Believer, followed by A Little Bit of Love.
Oh, love was out to get me. That's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. And I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. Ooh, I'm a believer if I try. I thought love was more or less a given thing. Seems the more I gave, the less I got. What's the use in trying? All you get is pain. When I wanted sunshine, I got rain. Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. Ooh, I'm a believer if I try. What's the use in trying? All you get is pain. When I wanted sunshine, I got rain. Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. Ooh, I'm a believer if I God in my mind, I'm in love. I believe, know that I believe, know that I believe, know that I believe, know that I believe.
Thank you so much to Choirs for Good, and also thank you to our supporting partners and all our promotional partners as well that have been absolutely fantastic. We may have a slide that we can show you about the promotional partners. Many charities who have been helping us spread the word. These are our supporting partners. We do want to thank Mind Cymru, Sinfonia Cymru, Canolfan Millennium Cymru, Wales Millennium Centre and Cronfa Gymunedol Community Fund from the National Lottery. Thank you so much to them for supporting us. And let's just quickly give a name check to our promotional partners in the next slide. Too many to actually name, but they've done a fantastic job and we really appreciate their support. Diolch yn fawr iawn I chi.
We now give a very warm welcome to another guest, Molly Fenton. She joins Chris and Nav, our other guests on the set. Now, in this part of our conversation, we want to talk about the particular emotional health needs of younger adults living with chronic illnesses or conditions. So, Molly, let's get a bit about you. Can I ask you to introduce yourself? Tell us, because I know your story because I was there when you were explaining to Sian in the Wales Millennium Centre a few months ago. But just tell us your story and what happened to you. A bit of background.
So my name is Molly Fenton. I'm 22 years old. When I was 16, I was told that I had a ticking time bomb in my brain. It was named to me, an inoperable brain tumour that's luckily doing very well, but that obviously had some big effects. And I try and spread awareness, particularly for young women who fall ill. A lot of my symptoms and struggles I've had have been hormone-based, which can be very embarrassing to talk about. So trying to break some of those stigmas and taboos and go, we can talk about these things. It's really important you go to your doctor and feel that you can talk to your mum or your sister or even your partner, your brothers, your dad, doesn't matter who. We can have these conversations because they can save lives.
Yes, they certainly can. It's amazing really to hear your story, which we'll hear more of very soon. A huge amount that you're handling at the moment and living with that with such determination. So we'll get more from you in a bit.
As we reflect on Molly's story, I'm really keen to introduce a young artist who's really coming up in their own. I'd like to introduce Adra and her band with two of their own tracks, Clarity and Oh God. Enjoy.
Hi, we're Adjua. We're going to play a couple songs for you tonight. This song's called Clarity. Tell me where I'm going. Can Feel like I'm losing my mind. So watch it all fall away. Then flow new through me. Watch it all fall away. Then flow new through me. Like a river flows through the sea. Tell me where I'm going. Can you open my eyes? Anything about showing The song we're going to play next is called Oh God.
We're all a bit spellbound by Adra in the studio there. However, Molly Fenton is with us. Molly, let's get back to you, your situation. It must be a real mix of physical and emotional challenges, really. How do you cope with it all?
That is the ultimate question, isn't it? I think I find it very difficult, and Barbara mentioned very early on at the beginning of Lleswyl that a lot of young people, or all people, aren't really given the tools and the skills and the language to be able to describe how they're feeling and really talk about emotional well-being. And I feel like I'm definitely that person. But by telling people that I don't know how to do it, you then find a community of people that then go, oh my gosh, me too. I need help. I don't know how to do it. And then we can't do it all together.
Yeah.
And then you learn. So that's definitely been a way, knowing that you're not alone, even if that doesn't quite help you be able to do it. I believe it does make a massive difference.
I know you've been described as a health activist, haven't you? Would that be accurate? Would that be fair?
Yes, I hear that a lot.
And does that help you live better with what you're going through?
Most definitely. I think when you can't control something, it's very, very difficult. You can overthink it. You know, it's the sort of thing that keeps you awake at night. Then you lose your sleep, and then your well-being's worse because you haven't slept enough. So you go through all these emotions, but feeling like you're being able to give something back and looking at what you can do as opposed to what you can't do has been a massive game changer for me. And it's something that other health activists around me, you know, say all the time.
Yeah. Let's just get the professional kind of word on this. You obviously treat young people with heart disease as well. Is that generation, are their emotional needs different to other generations and age groups?
I think they are. I agree with Chris by saying that every group, in a way, has got their own needs, their own requirements. But I do think that young people with serious medical conditions, long-term conditions, have got something specific for us to tune into. For us, naming another person who's been really integral to Daring to Dream, Amy Penn, a young lady and a wonderful girl. She died of her heart condition, and her family actually have really been strong supporters of Daring to Dream and have inspired us to do more. We learned from Amy that young people like her did require us to be aware of their emotions, and it might be simple things like small acts of kindness that unlocks the ability to talk a little bit.
It goes a long way.
In a human way.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
Yeah, and so it's one of the things that we do with donations is that for young patients who are in hospital, we'll give them little gift packs. It might be something as simple as some trashy fast food that they just happen to like. It's not going to do them any harm. It's one little meal, but it might be just something they wanted to eat on that particular day.
And that gesture can make all the difference.
It makes a difference. It's a small act of kindness that then unlocks that ability to just talk about a normal thing, not talk about what they're in hospital with. And so personally, I think that obviously knowing that this is something that might affect someone for their entire life, at a time when their friends, peers are living a different life entirely, I think we have to pay attention to that closely.
Chris, coming to you again. You were 20 when it happened. As I said, very young for that to happen to you. What was it that unlocked things for you? Who was it? I know you said you were at your nan's and we talked about the wobble, but what was it that actually made you able to kind of articulate your emotions?
Yeah, I think there's, because there are no words to describe what you're feeling at that point. It is incredibly difficult to be able to articulate yourself, and I think you just have to gradually claw out what's happened to you. You know, I think it's I think you've got a, you know, for me, I had my parents, I had my grandmother in that instance, and I think they were able to gradually over a period, and this isn't minutes, this is days of clawing out, well, you know, if you want to talk about this, and then they would gradually unpick segments until I had been able to fully realize and been able to articulate what had happened. and what I was feeling and how to be able to sort of cope with that, I suppose. It was a gradual process, but like I said earlier, I think if we had the similar to yourself, if you had the coping mechanism to be able to say, I am feeling this way, and give it a word, I think we'd be able to be not just move on quicker, but be able to, I can say to you, this is how I'm feeling, put a word to it, give it a label, and all of a sudden we can all move on because we know how to deal with that then.
Yeah. See, this is what Daring to Dream's all about. Bonding in the studio tonight. So many young adults living with serious health challenges. Maybe we just simply don't realise just how many or how much they're dealing with when they go through that. So let's go to another group of incredible young people and adults, the Cwmbran Deaf Choir performing Proud.
I look into the window of my mind, reflections of the fears I know I've left behind. I step out of the ordinary, I can feel my soul ascending. I'm on my way, can't stop me now, and you can do the same, yeah. What have you done today to make you feel proud? It's never too late to try. What have you done today to make you feel proud? You could be so many people if you make that break for freedom. What have you done today to make you feel prouder? Still so many answers I don't know. There are so many answers. Realize that to question is how we grow. To question is to grow. So I step out of the ordinary. I can feel my soul ascending. I'm on my way, can't stop me now, and you can do the same, yeah. What have you done today to make you feel proud? It's never too late to try. What have you done today to make you feel proud? You could be so many people if you make that break for freedom. What have you done today to make you feel proud? Yeah, we need a change. Yeah, do it today. Yeah, I can feel my spirit rising. Change. Yeah, we need a change. Yeah, so do it today. Yeah, 'cause I can see a new horizon. To make you feel proud, yeah. Let me hear, let me hear, let me hear. So what have you done today to make you feel proud? Yeah, yeah, yeah. 'Cause you could be so many people. Just make that break for freedom. So what have you done today to make you feel prouder?
Well, I'm sure you'll all agree, absolutely, to me. We're all here because that was a fabulous version and signing, wasn't it, of Proud. So picking up on that, I want to ask Molly and Chris, of everything you're involved with, or perhaps won an award for, what makes you feel the most proud? I'm going to come to you first, Molly.
Gosh, I'd say probably when people think of me and the work that I do, they think of kind of like, someone said to me once, "Oh, you're the girl that talks about vaginas," and I was like, "That's fantastic, 'cause that's what we need to talk about."
Absolutely.
And that
It's
people.
all right, we've gone through the watershed. We're fine.
Or they're like, "Oh, when I go to the toilet, I think of you," and you think that's such an odd thing to say, but I'm really, really glad
because of your campaigning in that
we do
area.
talk about these things, and it's really, really important. So that makes me feel proud that someone feels a little bit more comfortable and maybe then can pick up on an issue.
Fabulous.
Yeah, rightly
Well
so.
done.
You should feel proud. Chris, what about you?
I guess I did a lot of research into the emotional and the psychological effects after a stroke, and I wrote a book, and it was published in Germany, and this was 10 plus years ago now, and I still get messages, the occasional, and half of them I can't speak German, but the occasional message through Facebook that seems to come through, and it's saying that, I read this, it made such a difference to my life because I didn't understand my mother had a stroke, or my grandmother had a stroke. I didn't really understand what she was going through, and that kind of helped. So yeah, I guess that I would say that's probably one of the many things that makes me feel proud.
Well, congratulations to both of you. You've achieved amazing things, and I know you'll go on to achieve more. Thank you very much.
Yeah, long may that continue for you both. Daring to Dream makes spaces to talk in hospitals to support patients and their families when they're at their most vulnerable. They work with clinical areas to turn quiet rooms, relatives' rooms and ward day rooms into comfortable and comforting rooms for those very tough clinical conversations and times. These emotional refuges help the family members support each other emotionally, as well as to discuss clinical advice. They are often a place to cry. And they're so important, and they're positioned in clinical areas so that they can also provide a much needed space for members of staff to take time out when they feel overwhelmed or distressed themselves, and that does happen. We have a huge waiting list of rooms that require our touch, and Daring to Dream, as we've heard, no guaranteed income at all, no government funding, no local authority funding, entirely dependent on your generosity and fundraising, our own fundraising, some corporate support. You've seen who our partners are tonight, and also successful grant applications. So, for example, if you donate £10, it pays time for a family to talk. £30 buys a pick-me-up gift package, and 50 quid, well, that'll cover the cost of painting one wall in a quiet or family room. So, if you can help us, please do. And it'll make even more spaces to talk by donating to daringtodream.wales. And if you do that, you're very kind, but please remember to gift aid that as well. Thank you. Diolch yn fawr.
Yes, diolch o'r galon, thank you so much. We're going to bring you a short video now highlighting the work of Diabetes UK Cymru, and in particular their young leaders who help other young adults with type 1 diabetes by providing spaces to connect and talk. And they call this project Together Type 1.
Hello, I'm Rachel and I'm the Director at Diabetes UK Cymru. And at Diabetes UK, we're working for a world where diabetes can do no harm. Unfortunately, in Wales, over 200,000 people are living with diabetes. There are different types of diabetes, and the two most common types are called type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes affects around 90% of cases, and type 1 diabetes is just under 10%. And the things they share in common is that diabetes is an extremely serious health condition that has an enormous impact on the lives of those who live with it. It can affect every element of your life, of course your physical health, but also your mental health and your emotional well-being. And that's really why we're here as a charity. We want to make a difference and support those people who are living with diabetes in Wales. We do that in lots of different ways. We provide information and advice and support for people who are living with the condition, and also to the community and those who care for people with diabetes. We also campaign for change. We want to make a difference. We want to make sure that the care people are receiving in Wales is the best it possibly can be. So we're working with healthcare professionals, we're working with the Senedd, we're working with Welsh Government to try to change some of those policies, some of those practices that have such a big impact on people living with diabetes. We're also, as an organisation, the biggest funder of diabetes research in the UK. So that research is happening up and down the UK at different universities, including in Wales, and this is groundbreaking stuff. We hope one day it's going to lead us to a cure for diabetes. But perhaps the most important thing that as a charity we do is to connect people together. People who live with diabetes and need to chat to talk to care for other people who are living with diabetes. It's so important to share that lived experience of what it's like to actually be living this on a day-to-day basis. And we do that virtually. We have online forums people can connect through. We also do it in person through our local groups and some of the events we run. And one of the communities that we want to focus on today is a community of young people living with type 1 diabetes. And we call that Together Type 1.
Empowering. Supportive.
Family. Inclusive. Amazing.
The best thing about being part of Together Type 1 is a sense of community. No matter where you are or what you need, there's always somebody there to answer a question and offer support.
They're always there for you. The support is immense, and I never feel alone in my condition.
Not just a support network of other diabetics, but it's a bigger community and you can help overcome different situations together.
It's boosted my self-confidence a lot more. I've got to meet different people. It's helped me with communication skills quite a lot, and it's helped me with my confidence.
We all talk, we're all very close friends. I felt as if we're part of a family, so I can look for people in times of need.
The symptoms of diabetes are known as the 4 Ts.
Toilet,
Thirst,
tiredness,
and thinner.
If you have any of these symptoms, please contact your GP.
Thanks so much for listening to the videos today and for hearing those experiences of those young people. And if anything you've heard today has felt important to you, if you want to know a bit more about diabetes, you can do that by contacting our website, www.diabetes.org.uk, or emailing us here in the Wales team, wales@diabetes.org.uk. Thank you.
So, those 4 T's again, we'll just repeat them. The important reminder of them that may include diabetes. Toilet, thirsty, tired, and thinner. Toilet, there's become a bit of a pattern emerging here now, hasn't there?
It has, yes. Now let's head back to tonight's rock band, Rusty Shackle, with Coming Home.
This is a really nice song called Coming Home. We hope you enjoy it.
Straight in front of me there is a road I cannot see. Should I turn left or should I turn right? And there's a signpost warning me of dangers that I cannot see. But dangers are I find my delight. Dangers are I find my delight. Did you miss me like I missed you? Never knew how much until I saw a new moon. But tonight, oh tonight, we're coming home. Coming home. Coming home. Coming home. It's been 2-3 years that we've been traveling now, running from the place we used to roam, wandering through Europe on a ticket with no end, chasing the sun away from home, chasing the sun away from home. Did you miss me like I missed you? Never knew how much until I saw a new moon. But tonight, oh tonight, we're coming home. It's your perfect imperfections in the time
I don't feel alone. The feelings that we get when we are going home. I feel home. Cause you're perfect to perfection in the times we know. The memories they help me, I don't feel alone. The feelings that we get when we are going home. I feel home. And together when the sun is shining down, we're home. And together when the leaves are on the ground, we're home. And together when the rain is pouring down, we're home. I feel home. I feel home. Tonight under a bloodshot moon, there's a fork out in the road, and I don't know which way that I should go. One way's telling me to hit the road again and be free, while the other's saying I should stay at home. But I'm older now and I need a bit of both. Did you miss me like I missed you? Never knew how much until I played a new tune. But tonight, oh tonight, oh let the sun shine down on us again. Oh let the sun shine down on us again. Oh let the sun shine down on us again. Oh let the sun shine down on us again. Oh let the sun shine down on us. Oh tonight.
The fantastic Rusty Shackle. We've enjoyed them being with us this evening. Well, you'll see we've got a new guest in the studio. I'm going to introduce her in a moment because we're focusing now, moving our focus onto animals who also, of course, provide a lot of emotional comfort, unconditional love, and even a space to talk. So let's get a close-up of Daisy if we can, Molly's four-legged friend who all of a sudden has gone shy. Oh. We're going to be meeting Daisy very, very shortly. She's looking really chilled out, but we're going to start by hearing from the Cats Protection Centre. Oh, cats, Daisy, in Bridgend, and their lovely manager, Sue Ben-Saud.
My name is Susan Ben-Saud and I'm the Centre Manager at National Wales Cat Centre, and I have been working here for 26 years now. So we are a very, very busy adoption centre and we always have been. There's a great need for our services in the area. I think it's really important for us to recognise that we're not just helping cats, but we're helping people too. I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma a couple of years ago. It's a treatable but not curable cancer. And during the beginning of my treatment, I decided that I was going to get myself and a daughter a puppy. It turned out to be absolutely the best decision I ever made. I think when you are going through cancer or any other chronic condition, it is very, very difficult for the people around you, and it makes it very, very difficult to confide to them. I think when I'm in that low pace, when I'm really, really struggling, I know I've got Zeus. It just takes away the stress. You know, I can talk to him, I can cry with him. Cats or other pets can actually create that safe space, and that just makes a huge, huge difference on those difficult days where you can't actually see the light at the end of the day. They're an amazing icebreaker because, let's face it, everybody loves to talk about their pets. Over the years, we've had numerous stories of what a difference cats have made to emotional well-being. We had one family that adopted a cat for their autistic child, and they came in a few weeks later and they're just absolutely amazed. They couldn't believe the difference this cat actually made to their child, and they were so thankful that we'd actually rehomed them the cat. I think it's really important to recognize how much having a cat or any other pet gives us the space to talk and to just give ourselves some important emotional support that we really need. Pause to Listen is a bereavement service offered by Cats Protection. It's run by trained volunteers, and it just gives people that safe space to talk to people and get the support that they need. So if you are looking to adopt a cat, please come and give us a visit. We've got plenty of beautiful cats looking to find their forever home. If you need any support or advice, then please get in touch. And if you're looking to rehome your cat, we're here to help. You can contact us on 01656 724 396. You can also visit our website www.cats.org.uk.
Oh, thank you, Sue. That was great. And Sue herself, another very determined lady living her life to the full in spite of her ill health. And what she said about her dog, how Zeus is such an emotional support, and she can talk to him even when she feels she can't or doesn't want to talk to anyone about her feelings and concerns in her family. We're all adults. There's a dog in the studio. We've all lost our minds, I can tell you. But we got Daisy here with Molly. And how does she help you, Molly? Because she's so calm and so chilled.
Daisy's been there from practically the right of the beginning of my ill health journey, and she's 7 now, and I don't have any idea how I would have done anything without her. I feel like when you're struggling to explain your emotions, or you don't want to cry in front of people, I could cry in front of Daisy and she'd lick all my tears off my face. I can't stop her, but we've become inseparable, and I can't even put a word to it. But it's a new type of companionship where it can get really lonely. You can feel very alone, very isolated.
It's a bond that you've got, really, isn't it?
Definitely.
You two now, and I can see that when she came in, she was all just excited and wagging her tail. So were we, but now Daisy's chilled. It's fantastic, lovely to see.
I think she's calming us all down, isn't she? She's a relaxing influence and absolutely gorgeous. Well, Chris and Nav, what about you two? Have you got pets, animals?
Oh, Sean, yes.
Go on.
So I've got a tortoise.
Oh.
I've had a tortoise.
And I've got 6 dogs.
Wow, 6 dogs.
Sometimes it's 6.5 too many, but honestly, they're only small. And but the mum is the mum of them all. Is my dog, basically. She's she's been kind of in a similar way. She's sort of there when you're she's there just to sort of relax and unwind with, watch TV with at the best of times, but you haven't got to buy her a meal, so it's great fun.
Sounds like she's a great companion.
Yeah.
Nav, we were hearing there from Molly as well, weren't we? Just the importance of dogs for people who are living with chronic and long-term illness as well. I mean, everybody enjoys animals and they can be relaxing for us all, but they take on that extra significance, it seems.
They do. I feel like I have to talk about my wife in relation to this subject, because my wife is a volunteer for Cats Protection and she's a volunteer for Hope Rescue, which is a big dog rescue centre. And she was one of their first whelping fosterers. So we have pregnant dogs, and then she will help the dog deliver their puppies, and we'll have the puppies till they're 8 weeks old, and then they'll be fostered. So over the past year and a bit, I think we've had over 100 puppies.
Wow.
And they absolutely sort of bring joy to everyone involved. That's after we had our own cats and dogs and decided not to have any more. So we've absolutely seen the sort of life-changing joy. We've stayed in touch with some of those adopted owners for cats and dogs ever since, so it's absolutely transformative. We've started bringing healing dogs back into the hospital environment. We're hopeful to bring music back into the hospital environment and other things as well, again to make that connection, but we know how important that can be. Obviously there were very tight restrictions around COVID time, but no, we want to sort of bridge that gap, and I think it can be incredibly important.
Yeah, we hear of therapy dogs, don't we, and see therapy dogs in action in some places. So.
I think all our pets are therapy pets. That's why we have them, isn't it? And they become such important parts of our family. Don't forget, you can still donate as the night goes on. It's lovely that we're getting donations and lovely to hear from you. If you donate £10 to Daring to Dream, it pays time for a family to have those difficult talks and conversations. £30 buys a pick-me-up gift package, and £50 it will cover the cost of painting one wall in a quiet or family room. So please do help us if you can, and it will make us have even more space to talk by donating to all the W's, in case anybody still types that in, daringtodream.wales, and if you gift aid as well when you donate, thank you.
And to nearly our last track of the night, Lleswyl 2025, headlined by Sidiki Dembélé, Mariatou Dembélé and Modou Ndiaye, who with the professional musicians of Sinfonia Cymru play the arrangement of Sidiki's track to Bacan. Enjoy.
And what an absolute wonderful performance to take us towards our closing segment of the evening. But Lleswyl 2025 is not over yet. I mean, it's been an absolute packed evening, hasn't it? And we've been delighted to have everyone's company. We began from hearing from Barbara about emotional health and well-being at the beginning of the show. We then went on to hear from Mind Cymru and Sue about mental health and mental illness. We were looking at it from the angle of men and how they were dealing with their challenges, and women and specific challenges that they felt that they were overcoming, and with sharing on the platform we could all really learn from as part of this very special evening. We then looked at young people, and Molly, it's great that you're still with us here this evening, and also you, Chris, with your experience of the stroke and how you came through that. And thank you for sharing both of your very personal stories with us tonight. We really, really do appreciate it. But of course, the star of the show, there she is, looking very, very relaxed. And we haven't even got a dog biscuit to give her as a special treat, but the importance of animals in all this. And I think we really enjoyed hearing as well from both of you, Nav and Chris, about your own personal pets and how they help you as well.
There's a fair few of them.
Absolutely. So it's been a wonderful evening, and certainly for me an absolute privilege to be part of Lleswyl 2025 again. To me, what's your sort of abiding memory or your favourite bit of the night?
For me, I mean, she's right here. She's right here. But apart from that, you know, we've had an incredible array of diverse musicians and music and unique compositions, particularly for this festival. I'm just blown away by the amount of talent we got here in Wales. You know, from Rusty Shackle to Adjua to Arlog and Sinfonia Cymru. Like, yeah, it's been an incredibly wonderful night and a success. That's what I must say. So, kudos to everyone involved.
Absolutely, a fantastic night. Nav, what about you? It's been a pleasure having you with us, and a real treat that you've been able to stay so long with us tonight.
Yeah, you're usually on screen, aren't you? Just the occasional wave because you're so busy. It's great to have you in the flesh.
Just an occasional wave is good enough. That's all you need from me. But obviously, I'd just like to thank everyone who's involved, who makes space to talk, and those people who've inspired us along the journey and who are supporting us now. And that includes Jason, you, and of course you, Sean. You've been integral to the project all the way along. So thank you very much.
Always a pleasure. Always. And of course, don't forget, you can still donate. We told you what it is that your money will buy enough times tonight. And even though Lleswyl 2025 is about to wrap up, you, of course, at your convenience, can donate online anytime to Daring to Dream Wales. And of course, don't forget to gift aid whatever you donate, no matter how much you can afford. It's very much appreciated, so thank you.
But we must give the final word to Barbara. Over to you.
Thank you, Sean. Yeah, I think really it's an important moment, almost personally for me, as well as on behalf of the charity, to thank the ever-growing numbers of individuals and organisations who are absolutely getting on board with our agenda at Daring to Dream. We have this very sharp focus on emotional health. You could almost call us disruptors to the mental health conversation in Wales. We're pointing out there's one bit of the jigsaw we can all do something about. And even the stories we shared tonight, be they on film or within the studio, have confirmed it is a really important focus. And I think across a number of us, and Molly confirmed it as well, and Liz from Fair Treatment of Women for Wales confirmed it, and others, there is something about we don't have the language to talk about our emotions. And maybe this is something as trustees now we need to be looking at a bit more strategically. It's kind of quite an important bit. But even tonight, seriously, to put on tonight with everybody, including Ratio Studios, including Louise from Qbox, all of the people who've done filming, all of the bands, think of all the people in all of the different charity films, Chris Britton, who I'm going to give a flag up to, our filmmaker. Didn't he do a fantastic job on all those films? And we're over 200 people who have come together to create this one programme, a fun night, but an informative night, but also a night that stays on YouTube. So it doesn't matter if people weren't free tonight. They can see it tomorrow. They can see it next month. We can put it forward to potential funders to really begin to demonstrate what we're about. And I'm going to do a final thank you as well to Sarah Murphy, the Minister, who has understood what we're about. Delighted that we've linked up with Mind Cymru. Delighted that we're talking with Fair Treatment for Women of Wales and so on. And that we have a little gold nugget now in what we're doing. It's an absolute nugget which could make a difference. As I said at the event in October, it could be the game changer for somebody living with illness, that they have a better life, for their family and carers, that there's less pressure on them. If they're having a better life, they're less likely to develop a mental health illness on top. And if they're self-managing and feeling a lot more comfortable in their own skin, enjoying their life, even with illness, they're likely to need to visit you and your colleagues even less now. It's a win-win-win. And always saying, let's make space to talk. Thank you, Sean. And thank you to everyone.
Oh, well, thank you, Barbara, for all your hard work, which we know goes into it throughout the year. And so huge thank yous to everyone who's been part of Lleswyl 2025. The performers, the people who've supported, the charities, the partners, the people who've helped with a promotion. You all know who you are, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Of course, we're looking forward to Lleswyl 2026. So we'll be getting that date in the diary. But now, to see us out, I'm delighted to say we're going to hear Go West from Pet Shop Boys. Actually.
No star.
No star.
No star.
We will go our way.
Together.
We will leave someday.
Together.
Your hand in my hand.
Together.
We will make our plans.
Together.
We will fly so high.
Together.
Tell all our friends goodbye.
Together.
We will start life new.
Together.
This is what we'll do.
Go away.
Life is peaceful there.
Go away.
In the open air.
Go away.
Where the skies are blue.
Go away.
This is what we're gonna do. We will love the beach.
Together.
We will learn and teach.
Together.
Change our pace of life.
Together.
We will work and strive.
I love you.
I know you love me.
I want to.
How could I disagree?
So that's why
I make no protest.
when you say
you will do the rest.
Go away.
Life is peaceful there.
Go away.
In the open air.
Go away.
Baby, you and me.
Go away.
This is our destiny.
Go away.
Sun in winter time.
Go away.
We will feel just fine.
Go away.
where the skies are blue.
Go west.
This is what we're gonna do. There where the air is free, we'll be what we want to be. Now if we make a stand, we'll find our promised land.
Know that
there are many ways
to live there
in the sun or shade.
together,
We will find a place
to settle
where there's so much space,
without rush,
and the pace back east,
hustling.
rustling just to feed,
No one,
ready to lead too.
so that's what
We are gonna do.
what we're gonna do is go away.
Life is peaceful there,
Go away.
there in the open air.
Go away.
Baby, you and me,
Go away.
this is our destiny.
Life is peaceful there.
Go west,
In the open air.
go west,
Baby, you and me.
go west.
This is our
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Go away.
Sun in winter time,
Go away.
everybody's feeling fine.
Go away.
Where the skies are blue,
Go away.
this is what we're gonna do.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, go away.
Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your show. Good night. Thank you very much.